What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew. This is Ball Hawk Ifata Melafano of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Lions Talk Live Saturday show, morning edition, and we've got a little bit of news. I didn't really want to go with this particular headline today for the main top of the day, but I do want to point out this is now the third different publication that has gone with this particular topic, and it feels like the last week. Yes, we reported earlier this week when multiple different outlets reported that the Lions were considering trading Amik Robertson. And you know what? We all kind of poo-pooed it and said, hey, that would never happen. The Lions aren't going to do that. Yeah, he's potentially our number one starting cornerback. But now when Sports Illustrated jumps in on it and adds even more to it, as we'll go into the main top of the day, you have to start wondering if there's something to this. I personally don't believe the Lions are going to trade either Alex Anzalone or Amik Robertson, but when you have enough different major outlets, national media people with a lot more time, a lot more interest in getting these stories out there than what I have time to do, I'm going to say this. If enough of them, and these are coming from major outlets with Sports Illustrated, et cetera, then you have to start wondering if there's something to it. Somebody said something to each of these three outlets to get them to pique their interest and put it into their prints or papers or websites or whatever. So I'm going to say we're going to have to dive into it during the main top of the day. Before we get to the main top of the day, we do have 5 headlines now. We got some nice ones for you today. Before we get to that, though, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 subs away from 13,500, and from there the march is on for 13,600. So if you can help out with that, that would be most welcomed and great. Also, if you have a free second of time, it doesn't cost a dime. Reach on down, hit that thumbs up button, that like button, hit all the buttons while you're at it. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. And as you probably know, if you've watched YouTube for any length of time, every time you get a like, a subscription, or a comment, it just helps the channel out in the algorithms. So if you want to help the algorithms, if you want to help me be able to afford today's morning Mountain Dew, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit all the buttons. All right, with all that done said, out of the way, let's get this show rocking and rolling. Ooh, almost forgot one other thing. My bad. If you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, let alone the continental United States, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. I've been a realtor for over 30 some odd years. So if you want somebody who's going to work on your behest, try to save you time, money, hassle, headaches, everything in between, maybe the secrets of the morning Mountain Dew from the Syrup K, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text, 269-998-2384. All right, now with all that done, said out of the way, let's get the show going with 5 headlines now. 5 not so mega headlines now. All right, the Lions' $11 million cap casualty predicted to sign with NFC contender in free agency. Sporting News story by Darius Sharma. And yes, Sporting News is reporting that it sounds like the Washington Commanders are out there trying to sign Zadarius Smith. They have apparently made some sort of level of offer to Smith. I'm actually surprised that he's still a free agent. When the Lions let him go, I thought there would be teams more interested in signing him. But it has been slow, at least at this point. Now, is that because Smith is not interested in signing right away? I'll leave that to you guys to debate. We don't have specific details, but the Commanders lost Dante Fowler to the Cowboys in free agency after he led the team with sacks last year. Smith can provide a veteran's presence, I'm sure we're all aware, on that locker room, on that front line. And he's still got a lot left in the tank. He was, I want to say, number 10 in the league last year as far as pass rush pressures. Even at 32 years old, he's still getting to the quarterback. Just couldn't get him down enough to get that bonus at the end of the year. That's too bad for him. But he would probably bolster Washington's pass rush. I know most Lions fans, maybe not all, would like to see him return to Detroit. Unfortunately, if somebody else is going to make him an offer he can't refuse, he's probably taken off from somewhere else. All right, next to the 5 headlines now. Lions re-sign veteran offensive lineman. Story by Jeremy Risman, SB Nation. This did come out later in the day yesterday, but Coyote Oshika is going to be, and man, I finally got that name right. Yeah, I love it when you guys give me comments in the comment section about how badly I murdered somebody's name, but Oshika did resign with the Lions, and I really like it. He did start, I want to say, 2 games last year, 1 or 2 the year before, and I think he's a valuable depth piece for this team. It does appear the Lions have depth across the board, other than when one could say maybe defensive end could be improved, and yes, interior offensive line. Coyote, we all get it. He was the subject of a couple different news stories last year when you heard about people from his middle school and high school saying that, he was a stud as far as standing up for people being picked on, et cetera, champion of the people, et cetera. Speaks to the volume of the person, and does he not sound like a prototypical Detroit Lion? I think so, and good for the Detroit Lions for bringing him back. Again, he gives you somebody who has some starting experience. Didn't do poorly in most of those starts. I want to say at Minnesota, the first drive or 2, he was a little shaky, but after that, the rest of the game, he was okay. But that was about it as far as the shakiness. He's big, he's powerful, he's got familiarity with the team. And you know what? He's back for the upcoming season. Do not have full disclosures on the contract he signed, but given the other contracts Lions have given out on 1-year deals this year, I'm expecting it's going to be pretty team friendly. All right, next to the 5 headlines now. Former Lions who are playing in the UFL 2025 season. Story by Christian Boer of SI.com. Get ready to remember that name. We're going to get into him, Christian Boer, later. All right. Not going to spend a ton of time giving you all the different stuff, but as far as the Arlington Renegades, defensive end Will Clark played with Lions in 2020s with them. Cornerback Jameer Summers played in 2019 with Lions. He's with them. Matt Farnock played 2023 through 24, is with them. Also is quarterback Luis Perez, also played in the Detroit Lions in 2019. And safety Brady Breeze, Cool Breeze, is 2021-22. He is with them. Birmingham Stallions, Stephen Gilmore. Hey, a lot of Lions fans liked him. Unfortunately, just didn't get his opportunities here, but he played 2 years with Detroit, 23-24. He's with them. You know what? If you guys want, I'm realizing this list is pretty long, and we might be here for an hour just going through this list. But needless to say, the St. Louis Battlehawks have 2 former Detroit Lions. San Antonio has 5 former Detroit Lions. Let's see, 4 guys with the Memphis team, including Steel Chambers. How that guy doesn't have endorsement deals for something, maybe a PE medication or something, I don't know, but he's got about the most perfect name ever. Michigan Panthers only have 1 former Detroit Lions, and that is Jake Burton from 2024. Houston has 3 guys out there, nobody of note. Let's see, DC Defenders have 1, 2, 3 as well. You guys get it. There are a lot of former Detroit Lions playing. So if you want to root them on, maybe look for some future Lions talent, watch the UFL. Go check it out. I know it began last night and it kicks off again this weekend. All right, Lions may need to act quickly to keep Aiden Hutchinson. The heavy story by Ann Erickson with this one. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one. I think we all get it. The sooner you re-sign Aiden Hutchinson, the sooner that deal becomes a little bit more team-friendly for the team, for the Detroit Lions. This offseason, we've seen Mad Max Crosby get a mega deal. You've seen, Myles Garrett get a mega deal. And I want to say there was somebody else that also got a mega deal. We get it. Every one of these guys that get a new contract, the price goes one way. That's not going to help out the Lions. So the Lions, per Ann Erickson's report for the heavy, you probably want to be a little proactive on this, get it all done. The only thing I could say is I know some of you guys have pointed out in the past in the comment section, maybe the Lions want to wait and see how Aiden heals up from the broken leg. They don't want to commit to that, 4 or 5 year deal without knowing how that leg stability is. It does sound like Aiden Hutchinson is going to be right as rain, 100% okay, not a problem. He's been cleared, as we all know. I think we did a story on it a week ago. to do full contact, full whatever he wants to do, he's good to go. But maybe the Lions do want to wait and see him on the field before they make that determination on a new contract. I don't know. I'd rather see them be proactive than sit around and wait myself, but that's me. All right, not a big deal here. The Detroit Lions and Ford Field make a big announcement regarding the future of Ford Field. Other teams might be jealous. A to Z Sports, a story by Mike Payton. For those who don't know, the Ford family, as in Ford Motor Company, owns the Detroit Lions. So not a big shocker here, but since Ford Field's inception, the Ford Motor Company has been the sponsor that you often see listed on Ford Field. In fact, through the entire time. Ford Field has been the home of the Detroit Lions since 2002, making the second longest tenured naming rights partnership in the NFL. And that's going to continue with the new deal. I have a hard time believing that Ford Field would ever be sponsored by, say, Tesla, GM, or some other automaker. Could it be possible that they allow Mountain Dew to be the one of the naming rights and have it the Mountain Dew Ford Field Stadium? It's possible, although I don't see it happening that it'll ever not be Ford Field being sponsored by the Ford Motor Company. We'll see, though. Anything is possible in the future. All right, notes, Jake Bates reflects on jump from UFL to NFL as Michigan Panthers open season Sunday. SB Nation, story by Kelly Rowe. Again, not going to spend a lot of time on this one. Got to keep it a shorter show today because I got to show some houses and sooner versus later in this morning. Jake Bates, though, as we all know, came to prominence last year after he got cut by the Houston Texans. That's right. They actually cut the guy who would ultimately beat them at the end of the game last year. Went to the UFL, just set off highlights after highlights, kicking 70, 75-yarder field goals in warmups, kicking, pro football record, I want to say, a 66-yard field goal, then hit some 64s. Kid's got a mammoth leg. We get it. Can knock it out of the ballpark, whatever you want to say. And this is one of the reasons why you got to start rooting for the UFL. You're going to have more and more stories like a Jake Bates that if this league wasn't here, Jake Bates probably isn't a Detroit Lion, more than likely. And there will be other guys on a week-to-week basis that will make some plays, make some headlines in the UFL. And that might lead to them getting some contracts in the NFL. The NFL has long been looking, whether it's NFL Europe or arena football or whatever, for kind of a growth league to provide things to them, sort of like a G League in the NBA. And that's what it does appear that the UFL might be in line to do. I hope they can perform at that level because I think it would be a good partnership for both entities. We'll see what happens in time. All right, again, not going to make this a longer show. Let's go over and get to the main topic of the day. It's a little something to talk about. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it because I'm really torn on this. I can see why you would trade these guys. I could also say this is the stupidest move ever if you're the Detroit Lions. But let's see what you guys have to say. Let's get into the main topic of the day. All right, so this time this is coming from Emmett Mavtosky over at the SI.com, and not somebody I normally follow as far as Lions beat reporters. I don't even show that he is a normal Lions beat reporter. So how he's acquired this information, sort of like with the other outlets we reported on this week, like CBS Sports, I know was one of the ones with Amik Robertson and who's the other one? SB Nation. I don't remember off the top of my head. At any rate, they are pointing out, Sports Illustrated is pointing out, the Lions have been linked to a number of potential trade options involving both Amik Robertson and also Alex Anzalone. Why would you move on from either one of them? I don't know. In this particular report on SI.com, they do point out you signed DJ Reed. They did point out that you have Terrion Arnold. Enos Rakestraw is going into year 2. And yes, the Lions have signed a lot of veteran cornerbacks. Could it be Robertson was now deemed expendable? I guess at the right price, you have to listen. But I would think the Lions are in it to win it this year. Yes, Robertson proved his worth last year in it really wasn't a playoff game, but the last game of the regular season more or less was a playoff game in all real sense of the word, that he shut down Justin Jefferson and did a glorious job on it. In his first year in Detroit, Robertson churned out a 62.2 PFF coverage grade, but a stellar 89.7 PFF run defense grade. That is considered elite for a cornerback to have basically a 90 grade in run defense. And that's outstanding. Goes on to talk about a lot of the other Lions, the fact that they can't give out contracts probably to everybody. Robertson, as most of you know, has a year left in his contract. Whether or not they're going to be able to resign him, probably not. So it could be that they're looking to trade him, get something versus nothing. Goes on to point out Kirby Joseph's age is returning, Terrion Arnold, etc. Brian Branch, along with other developing pieces. The real surprise here, the Robinson story, we've talked about it this week, but then they go on to talk about Alex Anzalone. And while he's a natural fit for what the Lions want to do, they do speculate in the story that Kelvin Shepard is going to make some changes to the defense and think the Lions may be looking or open to consideration to moving on from Alex Anzalone because his strengths are, as we probably know from this week, man-to-man coverage, all that kind of stuff. Also points out that he believes the Lions are going to be making a move on the first round to acquire a linebacker to come into that spot. If that holds water, Derek Barnes just re-signed. Anzalone's got a year left on his contract. Could it be that the Lions are being proactive and trying to get rid of these guys? I shouldn't say trying to get rid of, but open to getting rid of these guys because they're not going to ultimately resign them? I don't know. I just think it's real odd that you've got so many outlets reporting on Amik potential trade from Detroit. And again, where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's fire, there's smoke. I hope neither guy gets traded, but I will also preface this by saying a lot of people did not see the TJ Hockenson trade going down, whatever that's been, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever. And I remember from some of my old, sports journalist friends in Detroit, they gave me wind on it about a week before I went on air with Lions Talk Live about it. I did take some stones on that one. And then when the trade went down, everybody kind of reversed their thoughts on it. We're like, oh, I totally knew that trade was going to happen. Totally knew the Lions weren't going to re-sign him, so they were going to trade him. And could it be that Brad Holmes is doing the same thing as TJ Hockenson here? The Lions knew they weren't going to re-sign TJ Hockenson. They did trade him. We all get it. That trade, ultimately, you traded TJ Hockenson for Sam Laporta, and you bought yourself another 4 years or whatever of cheaper contracts because of it. Could it be that Brad Holmes just says, we can't re-sign these guys. We're going to draft guys, and we want picks for it? Or, as this report also suggests, could the Lions be packaging these two guys in a deal on draft day for a current player or draft picks? It's not really clear from the report what they're going to do with it. Anzalone, quote, may be older, but brings a lot of veteran leadership to the locker room presence, and nearly impossible to find another trade for a higher draft pick who can replicate that on the field this year. So I would agree with that. You could trade Anzalone, and you could trade everybody for a rookie, and you're probably not getting somebody who's a rookie who's going to come in and play at the same level this year as Alex Anzalone. But if you're thinking year 2 and 3 for that rookie, that's where it probably starts getting interesting. Anzalone, I want to say, is 28. So is Amik Robertson. So 2-3 years from now, these guys are 30, 31. We get the math. So do you want to just go in a different route and go younger there? I don't know. It's interesting. And again, get over to you guys real quick here. But the fact that you've got so many different outlets reporting this is why I went on air with it again today. Let's see what you guys have to say in the comments section as I scroll over to that. And give me a second to go to the top of the screen. If you guys have any thoughts on it, by all means, throw it in the comments. And here we go. Bo Booth, good morning. Duke Crew, early morning laughter, exclamation point. Woo! Hey, try to keep it funny for you, my friend. Drake, Robinson's name seems to be out there a lot. Why would we move on from either guy? I don't know either, man. Now, kind of like the report said, maybe if you're packaging both guys for some deal for, an existing player, that might make sense. But I'm not sure why you would give up 2 starters for one guy. If you're trading for draft picks, I don't know, man. I mean, I guess if you're going to draft a linebacker, and I know people are going to say Campbell, because, you can't have enough Campbells on the team. And not that Jair Campbell I would have a problem with. I would just assume that means, man, you're all in on Jack Campbell. And then does Derek Barnes or Rodrigo take over Alex Anzalone's spot? I like Derek Barnes, and obviously he re-signed a deal here, but I don't think he's that great in coverage. Not like Anzalone is. It brings up a lot of questions, doesn't it? Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. I thought the Amik talk this week was all BS, but it's starting to feel like there may be something to it. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Just because if you have enough outlets on it, has somebody talked to somebody? And is there some truth to it? We're going to have to wait and see. Bo, Stephanie, it's the power of suggestion. Repeat it so much it's believed. Now, that could be also true. Also true. Manuel, no one will trade for them, laughing out loud. I don't know, man. I think to be fair, both of them would have trade value because you think about what they both can do. They both can stop the run, and they're both good in man-to-man coverage against the pass. I'm not sure there's too many defenses out there that want to benefit from that, but also would have to know the cost of that, right? Silver Server, good morning, Coach and everyone. Back at you. Brent, good morning, Dan and Ducro. I hope we don't get rid of me. I hope so, too. I hope Amik and Alex Anzalone both stay. But, if you're not going to re-sign them a year from now, then, you have a diminishing return on your investment here. Could you just be being proactive here and looking to get rid of them? I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens this offseason. Trey, what's good, everybody? Question mark. I don't see a reason to trade anyone away from our defense. Yeah, that's where I'm at with it, man. I would like to just, even if you're not going to keep them, even if you're going to draft the replacements, or maybe Rakestraw is the replacement for Amik, just let him play out that contract, get this season done, move on from them, say thanks for what you've done. Obviously, Alex Anzalone's been here since the regime took over. They had faith in him. Remember, there were a lot of Lions fans when he first came out that thought he was a bum, didn't like him. When we signed him to the latest contract extension, I can remember a lot of fans up in arms about it. This guy's no good or anything. Now, people change their tune. They're like, he's irreplaceable. So, we'll see what shakes. So, I repeat, the only way Amik goes is if he went to Brad asking for an extension. That could be. That's a good thought there, Silver Server. Another team might be willing to extend him right away. Why would Lions trade a cheap, good cornerback for a late pick? I mean, you're right. If he's asked for an extension and you're not going to give him that extension, you could be onto something there. Jess, greetings, sanitation, Duke. Yeah, but you said Manuel Correa, the Smith wouldn't be cut either. There could be. I mean, no. A lot of people said that Zedarius would never get cut. Then he got cut. Yeah, I get it. Good morning, Duke Group. Back at you, France. They both are in the final years of their contracts. Could it be that is a part of it? Yeah, it could be. I mean, again, using the TJ Hawkinson as an example, that did get him out of here. Brent, don't like the idea of losing AA. He's the quarterback of our defense. He is. But Brent, I guess the only thing I would say is if you're moving on from Alex, does that mean they have enough faith that Jack Campbell is the guy? Remember, Alex Anzalone was out a month and a half or whatever it was. Did the Lions see enough out of Jack Campbell that were like, hey, he's ready to ascend and take that spot? I would, I would say no, just because you saw the difference Alex Anzalone made in coverage against running backs, tight ends, etc. When he came back in the field for the Lions. I mean, immediately the defense looked much better. But with that being said, maybe they're just like, hey, we're not going to resign him, we're not going to keep him, or could it be they're going to play more zone coverage? I mean, I guess all could be true or incorrect. Daddy Gamer, let's go! Exclamation point. Lions fan, landscaper from Central Florida, ready to rock this! Exclamation points. Let's get it. Woo! You know what? I know you're up real early today, so just for you, I'm going to give you a 1, 2, and a 3. And good morning to you, my friend. Henry, what do you got? Good morning, Coach Dan and Duke. What a team. What a podcast. What time be a Lions fan. Woo! And back at you, Jess. Hope you all have had a great week. Have a day off and going to relax a bit with the kids. Give me a woo, Coach. You know what, man? We're handing out woos left and right today. There you go. And good morning. Bird time. Good morning, Dan. We're getting close to the draft day. Woo! Please don't trade Alex. No, I hope we don't trade either guy. That's me being selfish here. I would just rather see them play out the year of their contract. If you're not going to resign them, fine. But if you're going to draft the replacements, I think we have enough draft capital this year. Bring in those replacements. Let them groom. Have a year under their belt before they have to get on the field. That's what I would do. But, I mean, I guess I don't know what you're trading them for. None of the reports I've seen this week on Robertson have suggested what you're trading him for, what you're getting in return. And now that you're talking about Alex Anzalone too, I don't think you're getting first or second round picks for any of these guys. But are we talking third or fourths? Are we talking an existing player in their contract? Could be. Silver Server, I said it from day one. Thor is the uncontested leader of this team, a true man, a caring man, leading by example and with the heart of a lion. And, by the way, he can play. DC ain't no fool. AA stays. I hope they both stay, but I just, when you see enough of these stories, either everybody's just repeating it from the first guy, or they, with Sports Illustrated, I would think they're reputable enough where they've got somebody who's given them this information, that they've actually done their due diligence with it. That's why, again, I didn't want to go with the story today, but with it being Sports Illustrated, I gave it some more weight. Jim, good morning, y'all. I see draft choices traded to move up for another first and second round choices. Maybe it's that, Jim. Maybe to your suggestion, right, we got our first round pick. We're going for player A or whatever. Second round pick, maybe we throw in Alex Anzalone, and now we're back in the first round or something like that, the late first round. We get somebody else. Amik Robertson, throw it in with a third, and maybe we're back in the second round. I mean, you could put this in so many different ways. Who knows, man? JDC, morning all. Back at you. Big Eddie, greetings, salutations. I hadn't considered that. Franz Ferdinand. Yes, things that make you go, Berg time. Good morning, JDC. Lions Nation, roar restored. I would think so. JDC, woo, back at you. Susan, good morning, Duke Crew. No way do we trade away either of these guys. I don't care what SI or ESPN or whoever else has to say on it. Yeah, I'm there with you. I wouldn't want to see either one of them go. David, that trades would make sense to me given all the talent we now have at cornerback, and if we wanted to make a move or two in the draft at linebacker. I mean, we're going to be talking about this a lot. I'm just not sure. Maybe you do go and get a linebacker, but I think you're playing to win this year, I would think, and I'm just not sure if a rookie linebacker really comes in. Although then again, you've had to your point, you've had a gajillion different outlets say the Lions are going to draft, Campbell or Pierce Jr. at linebacker. Do one of those guys take over the Sam? Derek Barnes moves to the strong, and then I don't know. Campbell stays as your middle, I guess. So small. I trust in Brad, so if we can get something sound in return, I'll go with it. Yeah, might have to do that. Trust in Brad. Voltron. They are both getting older and in the final years of their respective contracts. If we aren't planning on resigning them, get something versus nothing. Could be true. Five fingers ready. A lot of GMs move on from guys a year early instead of a year too late. That's one thing the New England Patriots, among other teams, to your point, were famously able to do. They would move on from guys and you'd see them take off and go play somewhere else. I'm like, man, they still got it. But 2 years later, they didn't. So that could be an outstanding point. Trim Raber, good morning, coach and crew. Woo! And back at you. Daddy Gamer, as much as we may not like it, patience with draft picks, rookie contracts, and paying our own is the way to go. And Brad, we trust. And you know what? Maybe that's a part of it. I would say Anzalone's been here long enough. He's one of us. Robertson's been here 1 year. I don't remember who put it in the comment section, suggested maybe he's asking for an extension now. He's not getting it. So maybe move on to use that money somewhere else. That is possible. Johnny, let's see, Johnny, top of the morning to y'all, and same to you. Quentin, greetings, salutations to all. The draft is almost here, and I can't wait to see how we build up. The draft will probably answer a lot of questions about where we're going, what we're doing, et cetera, et cetera. Pat, real question, Coach, what time do you get up to make the show? I get up about 5:30. I start on the show around 6. Give myself about 30 minutes or so to start waking up, I guess. Daddy Gamer, I get up at 3 a.m. local time. That's pretty early. Yes. So I'm ready to listen. Woo! Hey, glad to have you here, my friend, and thanks for getting up and joining the show. Lion Dog, good morning. Dude, crew, exclamation point. Sure, enjoy your show. The best. Hey, thanks for that. You guys make it the best. So without the Duke crew, we wouldn't have a show. JK, and no iffy. There we go. No iffy indeed. JK, St. Louis Battlehawks are hot. Yes, we'll go with that. Dale, I'd be very surprised if AA got traded. Me too, man. I just don't see it happening. To be honest, I don't see either one of them getting trading, but there's got to be something that they're at least considering. Dale, and good morning, Duke Crew. Same to you. Michael, Anzalone is better than Campbell, but Campbell is younger. And a lot of times at the end of the day, that can be one of the contributing factors. Daddy Gamer and cheaper. Too true, my friend. Courtney, Zadarius Smith's girlfriend is a Detroit rapper. I did not know that. Michael, who knows? Thumbs up. Yes, I agree. Who knows on this? The T-Bone Lokes and Monty getting the return start. There's a football adage that a player should never lose his job to injury. I get it. I do get that. Danny Gamer, True Bledsoe, excuse me. Yeah, he bled so much, so they gave him a Tom Brady transfusion. Yes, indeed. Don, shout out to Detroit Pistons. What a dang winner. Yes, they do win. And Tigers, I want to say, won yesterday, or was it the day before? I'm trying to remember, man. Kurt, what up, though, Duke Crew? What's up, man of Steel? Always good to see you. JK, former Lions equals good players. There were some good guys on that list. So wishing them all the best in the UFL season. Bo, good day to you, Kurt. JK, good morning. Right, salute, Kurt. Miles Barker, green salutations, Coach Crew. Crazy deep ice from Storm. Glad to have power in Lions Talk Live this morning. Where you at, man? I know there were some storms, but hopefully you're okay. Glad you got power, and I'm assuming you got heat because of the power. Vincent E., good morning, Coach Dan of the Duke Crew. Fire, and back at you. Rick in the mid, Kurt, Brett's salute. All right, JK, man of steel, what up? Exclamation point. Carrie, morning crew. Lions will trade Anzalone and Amik when they get Garrett Crosby and Lawrence Taylor. Hey, that's a trade I might actually do. Kurt Steele, Rick in the mid, Kurt Steele, JK, what up, though? JK special teams in the UFL looks legit, too legit to hopefully quit. Brian, good morning to all. So everyone gets better at edge, but the Lions, we will live or die by this decision. Why did you lose the games we did over the last 3 years? Edge. You know, could we be trading these guys, one of these guys, both these guys, to somebody for an edge? Let that speculation begin. I don't see it happening where either of these guys, and I'm going to say I don't see it. Doesn't mean it couldn't happen, but I don't see this going down. But again, SI.com, amongst others, have reported this week. We'll see. Gerald, good morning. Good morning, crew. Exclamation point. Ford Field had Mountain Dew up to about 4 or 5 seasons ago and then switched to Coke. You know, it is what it is. You know, sometimes you got to make a business decision, I guess. All right, Kurt, Amik, yes, Anzalone, not so much. Amik does seem like to your point, Kurt, it does seem like more of the headlines are about him. This is the first time, to be fair, I've heard anything about Anzalone. Kurt, I would love to hear what you have to say on it. I just don't see either one of these guys getting moved unless they came and said, hey, I need a new contract or I'm not playing or something. But I just don't see either one of them doing that. I don't know. There's got to be something to it. All right, Jennifer, quarterback for the Battle Hawks was on the bench in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. This guy rocked it last night. Manny Wilkins, bring him in. He has arm and wheels. We'll see what they do. JK, wish we can keep everyone, but you just can't. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's one of the toughest parts. You can develop people, you can build them up, but at the end of the day, you know, you can only keep 53 guys on the active roster. Daddy Gamer, breaking news, Lions have traded their new defensive end, the Hulk, and the Thing. They have given up on the planet Mars, all right? It happens, man. Gary, waiting to see who the Panthers got to take Braylon Speaks' place. We'll find out. Silver, at this point, I do not have a clue about Lions draft agenda. There is a lot of talent in the later rounds. Just look forward to being surprised in a good way. Yeah, and that's probably one of the better things for the Lions in the last couple of years for the drafts is before with prior regimes, at least the first round, we had a pretty good idea what we were taking. With Brad Holmes, it really does feel like he's just throwing a dart, an educated dart at the board to hit his guy. He knows what he's doing. He's trusting the scouts, and you know what? They have not let us down. Jennifer, also, say their Battle Hawks running back lighting up. Well, he did light it up, didn't he? Lit it up. Thank you for that, Jennifer. Dog Kong, looking for a trade back, folks? Might be. JK, Jennifer, yeah, every play worked. It did indeed. JK, Jennifer, yeah, every play worked. All right, I feel like I just read that. Lion Dog, could we move up in the draft for Jared Campbell and use A for trade bait? Let that debate begin, man. Let that begin. JDC, Puff, woo, coffee, and Lions Talk Live. Gotta love it. Silver Surfer, Campbell is no Anzalone. Yeah, I would agree. They're different and will not be an Anzalone. Exclamation point. Is a matter of presence, of growth, of leadership. Anzalone is a leader as few others in the NFL. Yeah, all of that can be true. Brian, the Jets want both and probably Chicago. Oof. I didn't even consider that. At least the Jets. Man, Brian. Could the Jets go for both of them? Think about how much different their defense would be and why. I get it, man. You're spot on with that. Aaron Glenn, I could see him wanting both. Man, I guess we'll see what shakes. Jason, greetings, salutations, Ducro. Anzalone seems like the face of the Lions. His attitude, demeanor, grit, yeah, and he's got a Lions mane. See what I did there? Richard, to trade those two, it would have to be the trade of the year type of deal. Yeah, but I just nobody's got information that I've seen it. Maybe you guys have seen it and I've just missed it, so I apologize for that. But I have not seen any of the outlets reporting this stuff suggesting what the trade would be, who we would get, or what we would get in return. Mark, morning, Dan of the Duke Crew. Back at you, Mark. Hopefully it's a good one. JK, the trade of TJ Hawkinson might repeat itself. History always repeats itself. There's a lot of truth to that, JK, and that the fact that GMs tend to stay to a formula. Could be this is going to happen again. Rick in the Mint, keep the depth. Injuries were our downfall last year. It is true. But to be fair, both those guys are coming off of injuries, broken bones. And I don't know, man. Egon, what do you think, Coach? Question mark. Is Brad trying to day trade players? Maybe true. And yes, I do love day trade. The only thing I can think of, Egon, is like I said, they are getting a little older. I want to say the last year of both their contracts. Maybe I'm wrong on that. And they're both coming off injuries. Could it be Aaron Glenn could say, hey, I can turn this defense around or this team around in New York, like a couple of you guys pointed out, quicker if I have guys who already know what I want. And as much man-to-man coverage as he wants to play, Amik and Alex Anzalone would help out with that. Although I do want to preface what I just said. There's no suggestion it is the Jets in conversation with the Lions. But it would make sense. Kim, AA would be a great loss. I agree. He's a leader that makes a difference. Speculation to get attention. Maybe true, maybe two. Leonard, Coach, it's smart business to get something for them if you can't re-sign them in the future. That's also a part of it. If the Lions or Brad Holmes feels like he can't re-sign either one of them or one of them, maybe that's what he's looking to do. Even if it's a 5th or 4th round pick or whatever, you're getting something versus nothing. And as we all know that 5th, 6th, whatever round pick, you're going to have that player if you draft the right player for 4 years, where if you'd only have these guys for 1 year. Vern, Coach and Duke Crew, Coach. So who would 9? Who would 9? I don't know. Who would we get? We'll have to wait and see. Ken, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you. JK, trading Kirby would hurt my heart. And I know there have been some people suggesting the Lions would draft a safety in the 1st round to potentially not re-sign Kirby. I just don't see that happening, man. I don't see that happening at all. But I've been wrong before, right? Vern, so Coach, who would you add to our pieces at linebacker and why? So I guess let's Scooby-Doo this for a second. If we were to trade these two guys, then I would probably address linebacker right off the bat in the 1st round. And then Pierce, Campbell, a gajillion other guys come into play because you could have him take over one of those starting linebacker spots and get some pass rush abilities out of him. That would make a lot of sense. But as far as Amik, I guess you would be saying if you traded him away that you have full faith in Rakestraw or one of the other gajillion cornerbacks you signed to come into that spot. Or if you're going to take a safety, draft a safety, maybe you feel like, Brian Branch can take the nickel, Arnold, one of the corners, Rakestraw, the other corner, and go from there. I don't know, man. Bo, the con man sold tickets to Fire. When everyone went, he followed them. Must be something to it, he figured. Yeah, could be. Don Kong, Brad is picking best player available if he stays at 28. I would agree with that. Yes. Silver Sir, what can I say? Question mark. Maybe Anzalone wants an extension too, exclamation point. Maybe Lions want to accommodate him amicably. No hard feeling. Could be after all. Yeah, it could be that, Anzalone wants, at his age, coming off a pretty good injury, maybe he does want an extension just to kind of secure his future. He feels like he's putting the time in Lions. I mean, this is all speculation. I don't know, but to your point, Silver Server, you could be right. Phil, good morning. Back at you. JK, draft getting closer. Ain't no team too desperate to trade right now. Maybe after. Could be. Or during. Derek, good morning, Coach and crew. I don't believe the hype media has us losing AA, Amik, and KJ. I don't think so. Yeah, I personally, Derek, don't believe so, but it does, to a couple of people's points in the Duke Crew comments, it does kind of fit with some things Brad has done in the past. Burns, draft tight end depth in 4th or after. What do you think? You also chat. I think, yeah, it's possible we could add somebody in the later rounds as a tight end. Mike K. Spartans will best Johnny Verbal. It could be. Yeah, the big game Sunday. Verbal Kent, I don't like it. Me neither, my friend. Me neither. Let's go Pistons. Yeah, thank you for that. Don Kung, yes, they are doing pretty well. JK Pistons, boy, I'll go with that. Silver Server. Plus, they have done the impossible to keep this group together, only to give the core away. Again, it has to start with Anzalone. He has to ask. You're right. Correct. Ryan, Tigers 0-2, winless to start, but they are playing the champs. All right, I'll go with that. And thanks for that. Frank the Tank, they are not trading Robertson or Anzalone. It's just rumors to go Lions. Yeah, it could just be that. It could be. But you've got now a lot of outlets reporting it. Brian, Duke Crew, question mark. What's most important position on defense, in my opinion, is edge or defensive line? Besides Hutch and Davenport, who do we have? Will Hutch or Denver even play at 100%? I think Hutch will. I think Davenport will too, especially since it was an arm injury, not a leg injury or a knee injury or a back injury. Burns, going to my first Tigers game, April 9th. Let's go Tigers, Lions, Wings, and Pistons. Michigan is best sports state. It might just be. Silver Server, Jack Campbell is a very good player, but as far as leadership, he is a big kid. Football teams need big kids because a team has everything within. But big kids do not move and shake the entire squad. It could be true. JDC, I ain't scared. Go Lions. I like the way you're thinking. Kerry, congratulations, Spartans basketball. Yes, indeed. Rick and the Met, just clickbait by SI for likes and views. It might be. Vernon, Coach, do you think this is odd man out on defense? I mean, Vernon, it can all be true. If maybe after the draft or during the draft, the Lions are going to address these spots and deem these guys, I guess tradable. I mean, there's just so many different ways you can go with it. I personally don't think either guy is leaving, but if we get some sort of news on day 1 or 2 or 3 of the draft that they both been traded, will any of us be surprised? I think we'll all be looking at those draft picks and saying, now it makes a little bit more sense. That's the best I can say. Gary, believe only will draft 4 players this draft. Yeah, I think that we'll definitely be active with some trades. I believe you are correct with that, Gary. Bobo with Happy Trails, Duke Crew, all done and dusted for another day. See you later. We'll see you then. Brian, I'm happy with all Brad's moves except letting Smith go and not getting an edge in free agency. We'll go with that. All right, guys, I do have to take off a little early today so I can get ready for some work. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Also, if you'd be so kind while checking out, hit that thumbs up button. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do something kind for someone you don't know. Be a good human being. And we'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, all. You're still here? What are you doing here? It's over. The show's over. Go home.